Good morning and welcome to this Friday devotional through the lens of love. I'm going live a little bit early this morning because I'm going to head out and watch my daughter wrestle. I'm so proud of her. She's wrestling varsity today and I'm going to root her on. And you know what she told me before this wrestling season started? Let me just tell you a little backstory here. She started wrestling as a sixth grader, and the very first match of her life, she broke her collarbone. And I'm like a coach, right? And I am support people, want them to win, want them to succeed. And I hate to admit that I had this terrible thought that like, oh my gosh, like maybe she'll just quit. How awful is that thought? And she didn't. She came back from that injury and she was timid and she had to learn how to build her confidence back from that because she didn't want to hurt anyone. She didn't want anyone to get hurt. And so now this is her third year wrestling. She is just doing so amazing. And she told me at the beginning of this wrestling season, Mom, I want to wrestle for God. And like, what? Like as a parent, like that just was so beautiful. And so she writes scripture on her arm before each meet. I've gotten her some devotionals. I have there's these things called pathos socks. If you have any wrestlers, or I guess anyone who plays sports, are called pathos, and they have a cross at the top. So they're like long white tube socks, and they have a cross at the top, and then on like the top of the foot they have a Bible verse. And so any sports players that you have in your life who are Christian, look up the site Pathos and you can take a look at their socks. So that's just a little preface. That's why I'm on here early, because I have things to share. God is leading me to share with you, no matter what time of the day it is. So I want to just invite you to just take a breath, just pause right now as you sink and shift into this space, because this verse that I'm going to share today just stopped me in my tracks this week. And I think a lot of high achieving women, women who are business owners, struggle with it, wrestle with it, right? Here's the word we can use for today. They wrestle with it, especially women who lead and serve and give so much, right? Have you ever been burnt out because you've given too much? And then you like almost like go the other way and you're like, I'm not giving anything. And we put up these walls and these boundaries, and that isn't healthy either. And so this is a verse I want to share with you today. And depending on which Bible you have, which version you have, there's different versions, right? But the one that I heard that really hit me the most was, freely you have received, freely give. This is from Matthew 10:8. And it just like hits me because it's like, oh, I've been in a place in my life where I felt like I've given too much. And women that I work with, they're almost like, they're either like, want to give more, or they're like, I'm done. They've ruined me, right? Because I've given so much and people have taken advantage. So there's two coins to this, right? But when Jesus says this and he sends his disciples out, this is in Matthew 10, chapter 10, verse 8, he's just reminding them. And he reminds me of this every day, that what you carry didn't originate with you, right? You didn't invent maybe the gift or the thought. You didn't, earn this grace. You were entrusted with this. God entrusted us with everything that we have inside of us, with our thoughts, with our body, with our gifts, with our generosity. He has entrusted all of that, and we get to freely give. And when we know that no one can take anything from us, because the true and only thing that we have that matters is God and his love, like the words, I am safe, are just like, they are just bound inside of you, and they help you lead your day. If you walk through your day thinking like, you're fearing, right? You're letting that fear come lead you, right? Of like, I don't have enough, or I need more, or someone's going to take like this. That's the thought you get to work on, right? And so this verse, the way I see it, is just such about stewardship. And it is my intention, right? Like as a coach, as the work that I do, there are so many like habits that I do that I'm like, I need to share this with the world because it's changing my life. And there have been times in my coaching journey that I'm like, well, I can't share it because I need to like sell it, right? And because I also have a business. So I need to be intentional about that. And so when I first read this verse and it first came to me, some of the thoughts were like, well, does this mean I'm supposed to just give everything for free? Right. And if I share this verse with other women, is that what they're going to think? And then they're just going to like run themselves bone dry. And another thought was like, well, am I doing something wrong by charging for my work? Or am I being selfish by valuing what I offer? And I know I'm not the only woman who's had these thoughts because I coach women on them all the time, right? And so just know that I'm not immune to these thoughts. I get to work through them, right? The beautiful thing about me and the work that I do is that I don't just have thoughts. I question them and I look at them and I choose them wisely. That's the work in everything, right? A woman just came to me. She wanted to work on her public speaking and she wanted to work on trusting herself more. And, her idea was like, we're going to like practice speaking. And what she realized in working together is like, it really has nothing to do with speaking. We are all speakers, no matter what stage you're on. What matters is the thought behind that, the thought behind the speaking. So think about that. That's the work that you get to do is on your thoughts. So I know that I'm not the only one that has had those thoughts because I know that you're generous and you're heart-led and you care deeply about impact. But God just keeps reminding me that freely giving does not mean depleting yourself. My strategist, Sarah, that I've worked with for many years, she shared with me like, Helen, if you contribute, it will come back to you 100-fold. It's like planting those seeds, right? There's so many verses in the Bible about planting the seed, right? Even a mustard seed, right? Like it just will grow and flourish if you believe and trust in that. So freely giving in this sense of this verse, how I take this is it doesn't mean abandoning your boundaries. It doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. And here's the thing, if you think that people can walk all over you, they will. If you believe truly in your heart that no one can take your peace or your joy or your trust or your surrender, they can't, right? And people tell me all the time, like, she made me mad. And this is something I have to be very cautious about with my kids, right? One time my daughter said to me like, I'm sorry I made you angry. And I like, whatever I was doing, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the thought she had. Thank you for saying that thought, first of all. It is not your job. It is never anyone else's job to make you feel a certain way. But we put that pressure on people sometimes, right? We put that pressure on people to make us feel like wanted or worthy. And also like no one can take our energy from us. But if we believe that and we allow it to happen, we're going to be depleted no matter where you're at in life. Okay. So no one can take your energy. No one is responsible for your energy. You are responsible for your energy and where it goes, right? Where your thoughts go, your energy flows. Okay. So it does not mean when you give freely, it doesn't mean you're discounting your value, I'm speaking especially to business owners now, right? And Jesus actually never asked people to pretend their gift had no cost. He knew it had a cost. The disciples had to give away everything and go to him. The cost is your time, the time that you put into this work that you do and the value that you put into it, right? The intention. I was just thinking today, I was just like, okay, the main thing I do in my work is thought work. And you know what I do? I like sit like I think and I work through it. That's the value of the work, but I have to sacrifice time. I have to sacrifice my energy for that. And I do that intentionally, right? And Jesus asked his disciples to share what transforms them, not to hide away or deny the worth of it, right? So I'm doing women a disservice when I don't share this work. And my goal over the past several years was like, I want to give half as much as I make. And then I'm like, okay, that means I'm going to make a lot of money. And then what I realized is giving isn't just money, you guys. It's not just money. Giving is your time, your talents, your resources, your love. Are you giving people your love, truly? Are you sharing that with them? Are you sharing thoughts with them? Are you helping them interrupt their thought patterns? That's sharing life. That's sharing truth. And that's beautiful. So you can be generous and so sustainable. And if you're contributing, it will come back to you tenfold, right? I see so many people, and I've done this in my business before because I've been scared, very scared. Like, will this work? Will I make money? Can I support my family? What's happening? Will I reach my goals, right? And so I've done so, like, I got to protect all of this information, all this goodness, and I got to share it just at the right time. And that doesn't work, you guys. I want you to share. I want you to contribute. I want people to know you. And guess what? Then people are like, whoa. You know what I've had my clients say? They're like, this is contagious. I was like, yeah, it's like the best disease ever, is this energy of giving, knowing that no one can take. Ooh, that's like so beautiful. And that's what this verse reminds me of. So you can be obedient and be compensated, and you can give freely from overflow, is what I like to call it, not exhaustion, from overflow. Like, I've created so much joy. People ask me, like, are you always this excited? Are you always this happy? Someone in my Goldman Sachs class asked me that. And I'm like, yeah, actually I am. But it's because I spend a lot of intentional time pouring into myself. And so what I give to others is overflow. And sometimes it swings the other way. Sometimes I get exhausted and I have to say, like, whoa, I got to clear some energy out here. I'm giving from of the wrong place, not intentionally, but because I care, right? And so I get to listen to the signals for that. I get to be aware of that before I get to a point of depletion and burnout. So this verse is calling us to really steward our gifts well. So sharing from embodiment, not obligation, not because, like, I have to do this. It's, like, this is my destiny, but it's like, I fully embody who I am, what I've learned, what is inside me, and I'm sharing that. And we get to give with so much integrity, not guilt, right? Like, oh, like, I have to give this away. And you can tell when people are, and you can tell if someone is, like, really leaning into you heavily. You have the choice about your energy. No one can take your energy, but often we will say, oh my gosh, they're robbing me. They're sucking my energy from me. And the main thing is offering what you have without hoarding it, right? When we hoard something, there's something in us that doesn't feel safe. And, like, watch the show Hoarders. You'll see those thought patterns underneath. Like, there's a level that doesn't feel safe for them. And so if we can just live by those words, like, I am safe, and just know that I know there are a lot of things in this life that happen, circumstances, situations that are hard, that are out of your control. But if you can just keep leaning into and have faith into that thought that I am safe, and even if that is like, I am safe in my thoughts, or my, this word that I'm thinking in my head is safe, that is such a powerful tool. And so I encourage you, if you have something that's helping you, if you have something that you've lived, if you've got something that's bringing you joy, share it with someone today. Share it and share that light. And I think about Saint Therese of Lisieux too, that we talked about last week. I believe it was, we talked about her last week. And I have the sticker on my computer, do small things with great love. And that really is like freely giving. She didn't do she didn't say, like, I'm going to do everything for everyone all the time. She freely gave her presence, her faithfulness, her consistency, so much love in ordinary moments. And we can do that too. We often think to give, it has to take from us. So I want you to think about, how can I give without taking a darn thing? How can I give from something I have, this overflow, to someone else? How can I share that? And this is the beautiful thing about the world and why we're all so different, because we all have different things to share. You're not meant to share every single thing. Someone else might have that gift or that charism that they have in overflow and that they get to share. Right? So it's such a beautiful thing when we can do this and know that no one's taking from us, and know that when we contribute, it will always come back to us 100-fold. So I'd like to end in prayer here with you all today. Lord, thank you for every gift you've entrusted to us. Thank you for the grace that we didn't earn and the love that we didn't create, that it came from you. Help us so beautifully steward what you've given with wisdom and humility to us. Teach us to give freely without losing ourselves, to serve boldly without shrinking, to honor the gift without hoarding, and without apology. Show us how to give the way you intended, from love, full and abundant love, not fear. Amen. So I love you guys so much. I'm just curious, what do you have in abundance that you can share with others? And this does not, most of the time, and here's the challenge, people always think it's something physical, it's something tangible, right? It's money, it's things, it's items. No. Think about the overflow, something that's helped you in your life and you want to share it. Maybe it's a thought, right? I shared with a woman today, a thought that like, it's okay for other people to have thoughts, right? If we think that other people should think the same way that we do, we're trying to control them. Like, what a gift. I shared that was overflow for me. That was something I've learned that helped me that I'm going to share with her. And so I want you to share all of those things. Think about what is coming up for you as I talk here. And I'm so grateful for you today. So go and share, go and contribute, and it will come back to you 100-fold. Love you so much.